Very happy to be here today, and especially because we are presenting today a study about mobility data spaces and how they will be shaping the cities in the future. And I'm also here with some key players in this study. Here next to me, Yoann Le Petit, our thought leadership manager at EIT Urban Mobility. Yoann, hello.
Hello, Josep.
And here, Josep Laborda, CEO and manager at Factual. Josep, hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So, as I was saying, we're presenting today our study on mobility data spaces, and the first question goes for you, Yoann. What are the main insights of this study?
Yeah, thank you, Josep. I'm really happy to be able to share some insights of our study, newly published today, actually. So at EIT Urban Mobility, we've been doing quite a few activities on the topic of mobility data spaces. We are involved in GaiaX Spain. We are involved in some Horizon Europe projects. We also have created with our partners an expert group on mobility data spaces. And that's why we decided to actually look at what are the challenges, but also the opportunities coming from mobility data spaces, together with Factual and with I2CAT. And so I'm happy we can present this study today. Shortly, what is the problem currently with data? There is a lot of data floating around, but usually this data is scattered. So it's scattered among member states, it's scattered across sectors, and it's not really communicating with each other. Actually, we did a survey in this study where 80% of respondents say that they struggle to access the data they need to provide their services. And here we see that mobility data spaces can bring a solution, actually. And why? It is basically because of the own infrastructure, the decentralized infrastructure, which creates sovereignty, which also creates control over the own data that you share. And this generates trust in the system. And with trust, you can unlock flows of data, which then allow different players to provide services, to improve their processes, and then generate also an added value for the end user. So, in a nutshell, in the study, what we see as key takeaway, well, for businesses, it's, okay, try, do more pilots, look at where the win-win situation and business models are, and from the city perspective, benefit from actually improved modeling, improved infrastructure and mobility planning, thanks to better data flows. But when we think of what we need to make this happen, we need a supportive legal framework at national and EU level. I mean, we have the ITS Directive, we have the Data Act, and these are good steps already. But we also need to figure out what business model provide these win-win situations, and we also need to better assess the impacts of the benefit that can be accrued thanks to mobility data spaces, and we need to communicate about these benefits. And only then we can build this critical mass and make mobility data spaces a reality in Europe.
Yeah, indeed, data play a crucial role, and that's precisely about that. Josep, tell us, because you've been involved with us from the very beginning in 2020 when we started the operations in EIT Urban Mobility. So tell us, what are the most disrupting ideas from this study on mobility data spaces?
Yeah, thank you. You forgot a couple of things more that we're doing these days on the topic of data spaces. One is the training, online training that we're doing together with the EIT Urban Mobility Academy, involving international experts in the field of mobility data spaces that is happening these days. And secondly, just yesterday, a new European project kick-started here in the Congress called Deploy European Mobility Data Spaces, which is all about, now that we are setting the foundations of data spaces, what data spaces are all about from a technical, from a legal perspective and so on, we need now to build actual use cases on top of this infrastructure that is being built. Because otherwise it will be a technical concept that does not realize into actual use cases that benefit end users and companies and public administration and so on. So that's what this project is all about, which is involving lots of partners, including us. And apart from that, you're totally right. We've been involved since the very onset with EIT Urban Mobility in many other projects, ranging topics from DRT, blockchain in urban mobility, planning for autonomous mobility, so more disruptive approaches to urban mobility, sustainable last mile logistics, so lots of topics. So I was counting the projects that we have with EIT Urban Mobility, and we have more than 10 projects if we combine innovation and academy projects. So an exciting journey indeed with EIT Urban Mobility so far, and hoping to do many more innovation projects in this field.
Yeah, indeed, Josep, you were mentioning some of the projects in which you've been involved with us since the beginning, and I'll mention some. Multi-depart, blockchain for urban mobility, commuting with shared mobility COVID-free. So you started since the very beginning. I mean, we were still with the COVID and you were already creating solutions to make mobility more safer and also more sustainable.
Indeed.
So tell us, what
Indeed.
are the results of these projects?
Yeah, thank you for posing this question, because indeed in hard times like the pandemic, as you were saying, you have to spur innovation, right? To ideate new mobility concepts that cater for the needs of the people. And in this case, for example, we were piloting a very successful approach to DRT, so demand responsive transit, gathering people from different companies, so for, in a way, B2B DRT, which is not a not so common version of demand responsive transit, but it's getting momentum, and we want to do more of that, because we see the need from many people, not only end users, but also commuters that want to gather to share their trips in a sustainable, comfortable, convenient way, and reducing emissions, of course, and so on. So this is what Come and Save was all about. And in fact, regarding multi-depart, you were making a point on this project. This is enabling us to do something that is also very interesting, because stemming from the projects, innovation projects that we do with EIT Urban Mobility, we also can offer consulting services to companies or public administrations that get interested in the innovations that we develop. So it's not only theoretical projects. So EIT Urban Mobility is all about going into the market with real innovations that hit the market in a very short time frame. And for example, with multi-depart, we're seeing a lot of momentum from public administrations, also from companies that get interested in the concept of DRT. Like, for example, is being offered by our spin-off called NEMI, which is a company in this space that is invested by us, but is also invested by EIT Urban Mobility. So it's backed by EIT Urban Mobility in this space. So yeah, exciting times.
Well, so you see there are a lot of things going on in EIT Urban Mobility and all the partners involved with us working on this. So, talking about mobility data spaces, the study, as I was mentioning at the beginning of the session, is already available on our website, eiturbanmobility.eu. So if you want to learn about the topic, have a look there, because it's available since today in the morning. And Yoann Le Petit, Thought Leadership Manager for EIT Urban Mobility, and Josep Laborda, CEO and Manager for Factual, thanks a lot for joining us today.
Thank you.